Hello there. Today we're going to make another border, and it's going to be a 3-square border. So, and what you're going to need is a strip that is 1/2 inch by 5.5 inches long. So that'll fit on the front of the card. Okay, so top to bottom. And then you need 3 white squares that are 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. And then 3 squares that are the same color as your strip, that are 1 and I think a half, 1 1/2. Yep, 1 1/2. 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. Okay, so 3 1 1/2 by 1 1/2, 3 1 and a quarter, 1 1/4 by 1 1/4, and 1 5.5 by 1/2 inch. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to glue these right on here. So let's go ahead and do that. Sure you line it up nice and neat. See if you can get them as straight as you can in there, even all around. Sometimes, some days I can do it really good, and other days I have a hard time with it. But that's okay. We don't have to be perfect all the time, right? That way, on days when we are perfect and it comes out exactly like we want it, then we can be very pleased. I like those days. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to glue these on 1, 2, 3, just like that. So, and that's what the base of the border is, just like this. But then we're going to add an embellishment on top. So this is the base, so you can make these up beforehand. When you have your scraps and strips laying around, you can create these borders just as is, and then when you're ready to put them on a card, then you can pull out a couple little embellishments and you can throw them on there. So I pulled this out and cut it out, and I thought that would be pretty to lay right next to it and to overlap it a little bit. I think that would be pretty. So let's show you on a card. But I didn't want to glue these together just yet because I might want to stamp a verse on one of these, or maybe 2 of them. You never know. Okay, we can do it right down the center, or we can do it over a little bit. It doesn't matter where you put it, but once you put it together, it'll look something like this. And then we can put this on like so. Isn't that fun? It just gives it a little eye catch to it. I really like that. Okay, so that's a nice big image. And that's for my secret sister. That was on the envelope, and this was on there too. And I thought this would be adorable too. So we could even do this and put this either right in the middle, or off to the side, over by this one, or up on that one, over here, I think, or right in between. That might be kind of cute. I think I would probably do this, and then maybe stamp words right there. I also pulled these little items out, thinking maybe I could use some of these little items that were in my orange container. That doesn't really match, does it? But that would be cute. Oh, that matches nice. I like those 2 together. I think I like this better though. I think I'm gonna go, oh, and that looks cute with that too. I think I like this the best. And you know what? This is cut off, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and put this up against the edge, and then I'm gonna put this, ooh, I kinda like it just like that. All right, let's go ahead and glue this down, but I'm gonna leave this butterfly up. I'm not going to put glue on that just yet because that will end up going up and over these when I put these down. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on and put this down on the bottom and line that up there, and then put that on. There. Now, I think, do I want words on that? Maybe not. I think I'm just going to go for it. Just go ahead and glue this on. Then that way, if I want a word on it, I can use one of my pre-stamped words. That's a good idea, because I do that a lot anyway, so. Alrighty, so let's do this. 1, 2, and 3. And put this on. And this idea I got because when I was flipping through some cards and I saw this and I thought, you know what? We could pre-make this part right there. How easy is that to put that together, that border? And then we can just put them on the front of a card, because when you're trying to do something like this, look how that fills in the rest of the card. As soon as you put that on, we could stamp a verse here or up there or whatever, or we could put this nice border on here, and that really jazzes up that card, I think. I think that's pretty cool. This one I think I would put down here in the corner. That is adorable. I think so. I think I'm going to go for that. I really like this border. I think that's such a fun idea. And I love to have things like this made beforehand, because especially if you're like me and you make batches of cards and donate them, then this is a great way to get ahead. All right, so, and I think I am going to push it right underneath that butterfly. I like this. All right, there we go. And then turn this over. And I guess that's hanging off a little bit, but that's okay. I can trim that off. Let's trim that. Ta-da! And it's so simple, but yet look how pretty that is. And I think I'm going to put a little 3D foam right behind here. That's a neat idea. Ooh, I've got a piece right here that I can cut off. Good, let's cut a piece of this off. That is a lovely idea. Like so. Voila. I like the way it rounds down, especially if you put your finger right here where the body is, and then you press on the other side of that foam, then it rounds it up and over. It curves it for you. I like that. Isn't that pretty? I really do like that. Alrighty, so now, let's see, and I don't think it really needs anything else. I do have these, which I could put. That actually doesn't take away from it at all, does it? It's just a little color, but you know what? I think I want a word or a verse. So let's do that. Let me put these away. Put these back in my orange file. There. Oh, and I pulled this out. I'm trying to use up the rest of this because there's just a wee little bit left. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of this on the inside. Nope, that's still going to leave me with more. There's always just a wee bit more. Little bit more. Little bit. But that's okay. It'll eventually be done. That's pretty. I like that. All right, well, there's enough for another card or two. Alrighty, so that's good. I like the way that looks. Isn't that neat? So let's look through my cards. Maybe I can make this into a birthday card. I've got happy birthday right here. That is a nice idea. I like that. Let's see. I love using my hexagon to fishtail things. It just makes my life so much more easy. All right. That's kind of cute. I like that. Actually, maybe right there. And if I 3D that up, that is cool. Or I could just do it right up there. Actually, I think it looks better up there. Well, I'll be. All right, so let's do that. Let's put it up there. I need my other scissors though, my sticky scissors. Yep, they're getting all funkied up again. But that's why I have sticky scissors, to keep these ones sticky and not my other ones. This will be nice to have another birthday card. For myself, that's the most, I make those the most, birthday cards. Yep, I do. I like that. All right, that is a nice card. So let me bring this up and show you a closer look at it. What do you think? Isn't that fun? A neat border embellishment. I really do like that. So I hope you like this idea and you'll give it a try. Pull out those scraps, cut some squares, put them on a 1/2 inch strip there. And you could do them in all different colors. And if you use solid colors, that's going to match just about anything. So you can use it as a pop of color on a card. Or you can do a contrasting color. That would be pretty if this would have been green, to pull that green out. So I hope you like this idea and you'll give it a try. And until we meet again, happy crafting. Bye-bye.